Alrighty. Well, I am super, super excited to say that with me on the podcast today, I have one of my favorite singers, frontmen, writers, producers, the one and only Lukas Rossi. As per usual, I will do an introduction post our interview. So when this goes out, everybody will know about everything you've done from your solo career to Rockstar Supernova, all the way back to Cleavage and the stuff you've done with the guys from 3 Days Grace and. They will know all of that. But how I typically start every show, Lukas, is I ask my guest to give me a bit of a bullet point introduction. Let's assume that not everybody listening to the show maybe knows who Lukas Rossi is. So if you were to introduce yourself to the world in some bullet points so that they know kind of where you're coming from today, what would you say?
I guess it would be I was the winner of Rockstar Supernova, Mark Burnett's show. They were looking for a singer with Tommy Lee and Jason Newsted, and Gilby Clarke, the guys from Metallica and Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, and I won. And but I've been doing music for she's almost 30 years now, doing my own records and producing everything myself, self-taught. And if you don't know me now, you know me.
Yeah, perfect. Something we will talk about later as well is the viralness. It was one of the first music things I remember going viral with your cover of Hello by Adele. We'll talk about that. We'll get to it because I thought you just did such a great job. But before we do, let's kind of paint a little bit of a picture, a little bit maybe about your upbringing and how you got into music. Um, Born and raised in Toronto, from what I read.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how music first came into your life, and then talk to me furthermore about if there was a point where perhaps you thought, "Man, I think I could run with this. This does something for me."
Well, I got into music in a really strange way. Well, I mean, my at home life was pretty tumultuous, and I guess you could say I like being outside a lot more than inside, so to speak. Um, and me and my friends who I lived, a couple doors down, we were just all of a sudden we heard a sound in the schoolyard across the road, and it was this kid playing guitar with this little amp. And I remember going like, "What is that? That's awesome! Like I've never heard that shit before." And my friend at the time, Grant, he was my first guitar, ended up being our guitar player in my first band. Um, he ran home and he got like $30 and he persuaded this kid to sell him his guitar. And all of a sudden he comes back with his guitar and um, he's like, "Look what I just bought." And I'm like, "What the, what is that what that sound was?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to learn how to play it." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude."
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and he would just he's a virtuoso, man. Like he was like brought up on piano, and we're like, geez, we must have been like 13 or something at the time. And so he already had like his parents made him do his lessons at home, like it's half Jamaican, half Swedish. So they like he could not come out and play with us or anything till he learned his shit.
Yeah.
So he had like a leg up on us, and he must have learned that thing in a couple of weeks, man. Like fucking really good too. So it kind of put the fire under our ass to go like, well, do you want to play in like a band, you know? Um, and we slowly did, and somehow I became the singer. I didn't want to be because I didn't know, you know, I didn't know what that entailed, right? But I did this thing. I'd make fun of like opera singers, like if we were out just like fucking around. That shit. And John, the drummer who became the drummer, my best friend, he was like, he goes, "Dude, that's fucking so cool." He goes, "It's funny, man, but like it's not funny, like, because not a lot of people can do that shit." And
Yeah.
like at my age, and I was like, really? Not everybody can do that, like. And then like slowly we just started to, I guess, appreciate what we all we're trying to achieve, and slowly we just kind of brought it all together. And yeah, and that was the beginning of how it all started, man, you know.
That's amazing. Can you remember how much longer it was until you did your first gig?
Oh, there, I guess it had to have been a couple years. um we actually, we didn't have a microphone, and there was a school across the road from, you know, I said there was a schoolyard where we heard that guy. But we were super young, right? So we somehow John was like, let's go in that school, see if they got a microphone. I was like, what do you mean? Why would they have a microphone? And it's so weird, dude. I remember walking over, and we were walking over like, you know, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're not gonna fucking pay for this thing when we find one, if we do, right? And
Yeah.
so I didn't say shit. And we literally walked in, dude, and there was a fucking like it was like they were doing an assembly, but no one there. Like fucking two mics set up. It was like God was going like, take which one you like. And I swear, dude, we took one of them and we fucking bolted. Like I mean, so obvious. We literally lived like you could throw a stone and hit where we grew up. Like you could see the house, like see us fucking running with your shiny silver shitty mic. Like we're all like fucking all sweating, like fucking, you know. And I remember plugging it into a bass amp because we didn't have a PA or anything like that, and it was just all like, you know. And then it just became this such joy, and it really brought us together as, you know, as people, as friends. And you know, starting your passion, something that I don't think any of us at the time knew what the fuck that was going to be, you know. Like who knows. I knew it wasn't, mine wasn't going to be scholastics, you know. I wasn't going to be a fucking, you know, Elon Musk or some shit, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, and it just was this obsession, man, because that music became like my refuge, you know, away from home, where I could express myself without being yelled at, and you know, all that. It
Yeah.
seems like I've noticed a lot of people in music have had a fucked up. I think a lot of people have had a fucked up upbringing, but especially for musicians, they're like very tortured souls in some way. I think that's not. I think that has something to do with God and Satan, and especially Satan. You know, because we have a forever microphone right here. You know, that can reach a lot of people more so than, you know, the average. Um, and I think the more successful you get, the more fucked up shit starts to kind of happen to you, man. Like whether it be drugs, ill-timed situations,
Yeah.
just really like shit that doesn't happen to your average person, really. If you look at history and even to today, you'll go like, whoa. Yeah, it's kind of like a curse, but a kiss, you know?
Exactly, dude. It's like
Yeah.
this beautiful thing that comes with a lot of complications, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
and I
yeah,
think, you know, to touch on your point, like if you look at society and how certain individuals within society, whether they're rock stars or at points in time kings and queens, or now certain politicians, whatever it is, they almost become idolized. And like I get it, right? Because like that's what we get fed on a daily basis through a screen.
yeah,
But I almost don't know if humans have the tenacity to truly be idolized. It's not healthy to have everybody around you telling you that you can do no wrong. Cause you know what?
yeah.
We fuck up, man. We we
Oh,
fuck up all the time. It's human. But
yes,
like,
yeah.
oh dude, everybody, you know, and it's like when you're doing some of these things and everyone around you is going, well, that's great, man. Rather than like maybe going, you might want to think a little bit more about this, dude. Like, I think people start to get this megalomaniac kind of persona, or worse,
Yeah, but it's so
you
easy
know,
to put that hat on, man.
so easy,
You
so
know,
easy.
everyone's just fucking jerking off, and yeah, and you're fucking just being a complete fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
And yet people are like, yeah, laughing and like, yeah, man, you're fucking so cool, dude.
Yeah.
Literally, you're just slipping down the fucking side of the hill, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really sad.
Mhm.
Um, well, so check it out. So you land up like, at least from what I saw, and again, if I'm wrong, I do apologize. But from what I saw, your first band that seems to do quite well is a band called Cleavage. There's a couple videos out there, there's a couple audio examples out there. So what was the vibe with that band? I mean, the music's great. You've always had a sound that definitely draws me in. I don't know what it is. I love it. Keep it up. It's great.
Right
But
on.
what leads you to Cleavage? How does Cleavage do? And then what eventually, and we're trying to condense a lot of stuff here, obviously, because I've got you for like an hour, but what eventually leads Cleavage turning into the next thing, turning into the next thing, and eventually you get in the opportunity to do the Rockstar Supernova show.
Well, I mean, I guess I can do fast track of this. We were playing for 10 some odd years and just playing, gigging and touring and really trying. We got a lot of invites to, RCA, all the major labels flew us out, doing demos and signing development deals and what have you back in the day when they actually developed fucking artists. The good life. Um, but we had I think there was, certain things they maybe they thought could be better within the band, you know, um, whether it be songs or certain players in the band. Um, but we just kept going and going and going, and then I was kind of just like beating my head, and we had this manager who knew people through EMI publishing. He had a band called Soul Decision that was pretty big in Canada, um, and they were kind of like in sync, but with guitars and shit, kind of like that. Anyways, he introduced me to. He heard a song I was playing at home with like an electric guitar, but no amp. I was just unplugged, and it was kind of ska, um, totally different than what Cleavage was or my style to begin with. And he was like, dude, that's a good song. That's a good song. And I was like, oh, thanks. Like he's like, I want you to come to EMI and play that for them. Maybe we can get you a publishing deal. And I was like, ooh, what the fuck is that? I don't know what that was. So I ended up going there and I was just sitting, meeting all these big executives, and I think I didn't know we were going, but I just finished smoking like a little bit of weed, right? Because I'm not like big into drugs, but I fucking I remember it was like I guess it was like 1 in the afternoon, and I was like I just smoked a little bit, like, and I was fucking like too fucking all of a sudden. Oh, you gotta come down here and meet these executives and play this fucking song you fucking just wrote on the electric guitar that has no amp. You've never met them before, no stress. I'm like, fuck. So I go in and I play it, and I'm sitting cross-legged in this little like studio booth thing, and I'm so shy. I'm like, sometimes the winds in love. I'm just singing the song, and I guess they weren't sold, so we ended up leaving. It was nice meeting them and blah blah. And then the next day, Gary, the manager, he calls. He's like, "Bro, we got to go back, but sing louder, sing like you, B. Come." He's this big Jamaican guy. He's awesome. I love him, man. And we went in and I fucking mangled it. I just sang it like I didn't give a fuck because I wasn't tooting on anything at that time. So yeah, they signed me to a publishing deal. And I think that the band after that was a little butthurt in a way. Kind of like I'm gonna fucking go off to leave them behind, which I never would do, but um there was just things that I started to do that came with the program. Like you got to go out and write with different writers and be open to change and stuff and like that, stuff like that. But it did have an effect on us, and we just, we slowly kind of, I guess, didn't talk through those issues, and that kind of we separated gradually. Not, it was amicably. It wasn't even like we knew that it was happening. It just kind of happened. And then I was with this crazy freaking chick. Um, I seem to say that a lot in my life. It's funny. Uh, and I was with this chick, and what was happening? Yeah, that was just not a good idea. And so I ended up leaving her because she actually stepped out on me. And I remember I was staying at my friend's house, just trying to, bide the waters and let this pass and all that. And Barb, the person from my publishing company, this girl who actually told me about the Rockstar Supernova auditions. This was about, I guess, 6 months after what I'm about to tell you. These guys from Montreal called me. They were from a band called Pulse Ultra. They were an amazing band, like a prog band, really heavy and shit. And they were signed, I think, through RCA or whatever. But they broke up, and I guess they knew who I was, and they wanted, and they'll do anything to get me to like come play in their band. And I heard their stuff, and I was like, "Fuck, this shit's dope! Like, this is the
Yeah,
stuff I kind of wanted to progressively do with cleavage." You know what I mean? And which could never happen because it was very much a different dynamic with the individuals in both bands, right? So I actually moved out to Montreal, lived in the guitar player's basement, and we rehearsed in like a fucking, and this is during winter, minus 40 degrees, like, and it was an abandoned bowling alley. And um we just rehearse. We had some label meets and all this shit, and we were like almost there. We played for LA Reid and a bunch of people. um and it's something, we were just starting, and I remember playing headspin with in this rehearsal room for all these execs, and they were like, I don't know if that's a hit.
of course.
Funny, you played on national TV, and it's fucking,
Yeah.
it's just a massive song.
Yeah, massive
um
song.
so while I'm there, we started to break up, which was, and it's not my fault. Don't don't think that at home. Not my fault. Um, I guess everyone, because they broke up from, they were bummed out. They lost their deal with their, and then I had cleavage back in Toronto, kind of like in limbo,
Yeah.
and I'm like, fuck, I'm not giving up. Like, I'm gonna play fucking music. I'll stick around. Um, and then Barb, that girl from that signed me from EMI, called, and I was like, no, I had nothing, bro, like not a fucking dollar, and I'm sleeping in that abandoned bowling alley, like freezing, dude, like with like, newspaper over me, because like the little like space heaters would turn off after a certain time. And so it was rough, bro. So she called me, and she's like, "Hey, there's this audition, there's this show they're doing." I'm like, "A show? What do you mean?" She's like, "I don't. They're like audition. This is before American Idol, like
Yeah.
around. I didn't even. I knew, no, there was American Idol, but I just remember going, that's fucking lame as fuck. Um, I'll never do that, stuff like that." And she goes, "It's who is it? Um, the band that does Might As Well Jump. Who the fuck is that?"
Van
Oh,
Halen.
yeah, Van Halen. She said that, and I was like, "They're looking for a singer." And I'm like, "Oh, hell no! Like,
Yeah.
that's not. I could not. You can't replace certain singers. It's just not my gig neither. Like, I would be miserable." So I turned it down. Who knows what would have happened if that was the case? But so I said, "No, thanks, Barb, but whatever." So she calls a week later, and she's like, "I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. It's Tommy Lee and Jason Newsted from Metallica." And I went, "Now say what?
Yeah.
Hello?" That was more my cup of tea. And I go, what do I gotta do? And she's like, "Well, you gotta audition like 3 times." And I'm like, "Whoa, holy fuck." I go, "What, you have to go down to Vancouver?" I'm like, "Barb, I don't have a cent." She's like, I'll pay for you. Just trust me, I have a good feeling about this. You're so talented. You can't let this go by the wayside. I'm like, "I'll pay you back. I'm okay. I'll give it a shot." I went out with that unplugged electric guitar, dude, and I walked into this one room, and it was pitch black. like in this like Irish bar, and they had this one room, was the stage was about the size of a couch with this one white light just beating down, like, and I drank a couple of fucking pints the night before, so I'm sweating, bro, like playing. I'm playing headspin, just like the acoustic sound of, you in the studio over there just singing with the
Yeah.
fucking one of your electrics not plugged in. Like that's what it
Yeah.
sounded like. And then there was like, I guess there was a few rows of seats, but it was all pitch black. So I'm like, am I fucking playing by like for my, is this like, should I even start singing? I'm like, hello. And then I hear someone go, why are you sweating so much?
Jeez.
And I found out later that was Jason Newsted. Like they were all watching me, and I didn't know until months later when I was actually on the show in LA
Yeah.
that that was them, and they were just laughing at me. I was fucking just dripping, fucking Guinness or some whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I played that song, and then I was walking out. There, it was very like, um, you know, very like, here's your card, and you're like, thank you for your audition. Next, next, next.
Yeah.
I tried, like, and then as I'm walking out, this guy runs out. He's like, hey, you got to come back tomorrow for round two. Cool. And I was like, sure, absolutely. I promise I won't sweat as much. And he was like, don't know what that means, but I'll see you tomorrow, dude. And so I came back, and then I played a couple of other covers, whatever. And they were like, we'd like you to come out to LA and try this out for real. We like what you do, and we'll see what happens. You'll
Yeah.
be sequestered in a hotel for like 3 weeks, and they went through the ringer. You got to do like physical tests and mental tests and
Mm.
a whole bunch of shit, dude. Like they're grooming you for something. I'm like, wow, and you
Yeah.
can't leave your room. You can't talk to fucking people. So you see these people who look like they're in rock music, and you want to be like, what's up? And if you say any, you get booted.
You're gone. Yeah.
So one of the girls, I'll just say, one of the girls that was on the show called me, bro, like called me to my room, and I'm like, who is this? Why are you calling? She's like, I really want to have sex with you. Come to my room. And I'm like, who is this? No, I didn't hear you. Go to bed. Go to bed. I said, no, no. Bye.
That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah, that was fucking. I don't think I've ever told anybody that story, man.
That's amazing. I feel very privileged for it. Well, before we continue with the Rockstar Supernova thing, I do have to just slightly comment on tenacity because I find that it is a reoccurring theme with a lot of musicians. I mean, for you to essentially be sleeping in a cold abandoned bowling alley, freezing, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I'm stereotyping, of course, but a lot
Hmm.
of people would be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna go get a 9 to 5 at the Dollar General or whatever the case is, just some
Yeah.
kind of job to get a job. I'm not doing this bullshit anymore. But I find with musicians, there's this. It goes back to your tortured soul kind of vibe. There's almost this. Well, I'm gonna do this because I'm trying to be true to the path that I think I need to take. You know,
Yeah.
now, this is going to be a bit of a strange one because obviously, I wouldn't think that we can possibly put this down to any set description that will suit everybody. But what do you think was it in you that kept you going, even in such rough times? Your band's falling apart, this new band's kind of falling apart. Yeah, you got the publishing deal, but like, why not just quit and just go like, fuck this? What keeps you
God,
going?
man.
What
God.
motivates you?
God. God
Yeah.
has always been literally holding my hand, dude, and sometimes dragging me um, to the inevitable. And that's why I'll never ever quit. It's like I know that through confessions of fans and wonderful people out there that my music's somehow saved their fucking life. And that's a full-time job for me. I'll never throw the towel in, man. You
That's
know,
cool.
can't do it.
That's amazing, man. Okay, so let's go back to Rockstar Supernova for just a few more minutes, okay?
Okay.
You end up winning the show. Show was awesome, by the way. I watched it very fondly. I remember
Oh
coming
yeah.
home from gigs, and it was always late because I grew up in South Africa, so the time zones were nuts. And I'd turn the TV on after a gig, and Rockstar Supernova would be on. I'd be like, "This is freaking awesome, man!" I was super stoked when you won. You release an album. You guys go do a few tours. I know you went to Australia, New Zealand, a bit in Canada. I don't know how much you did in the States, but I'm pretty sure you did a fair amount there too.
Yeah.
Um, Lots of big names on this record. I mean, obviously you've alluded to Tommy Lee, Jason Newsted, Gilby Clarke's on the record, Butch Walker's producing, an amazing producer.
He's doing
Um,
background vocals on Headspin too,
Amazing.
and playing
Yeah.
the tambourine.
You can't beat a good tambourine.
Fuck,
Um,
it's hard to play that shit.
so, you know, I mean, the album is fantastic, at least in my personal opinion. So, why do you feel, and again, possibly a bit of a redundant question, so I'm not trying to put you on like a weird
No,
spot here,
no,
but
no.
why do you feel the band doesn't necessarily blow up? It gets a lot of press as the super group based on the musicians involved. As far as I'm concerned, they get the whole package as a frontman. You would think, given the people involved, everybody has, ways to get motion going, yet it doesn't become this, oh my God, you've got to check out this record kind of record. Why?
That is from your lips to God's ears, man. I think maybe he saved my life because I was going like that, like we were talking about earlier. That whole, you know, supporting somebody who thinks that they're bigger than themselves is a dangerous cup of tea, bro.
Mm,
Um, and I think that at that time also there was a lot of super groups, which really tarnished the whole endeavor. I don't think I think that people like to not take stuff serious when it's on a television format
yeah,
because then it's like selling out bullshit, which I think anybody in the fucking world would have taken that opportunity if I'm not correct.
easily.
Um, but yeah, it's easier for them at home to go, I'm not gonna listen to that shit. It's fucking TV show. But I bet they were more of a fan than their fucking wife watching it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, so yeah, I think it's the format, and it definitely wasn't the music, man, and it's the team involved as well. I After that tour, I knew that um, I couldn't play um, with certain a person in the band because they just rubbed me and taught me the wrong way, I guess you'd say. um
okay.
so we were gonna do our own thing, and then um stuff happens. I went immediately out on my own tour with an acoustic guitar and a piano player and wanted to show people I can actually entertain and sing, not just on CBS
Yeah,
on a TV show, and which it was an incredible experience. Fans I didn't even knew were there, like packed, sold out every night. More people at those shows than I think Supernova stuff,
wow.
which was really cool and eye opening. And it taught me my craft too. It taught me how to be a better guitar player. It taught me how to not suck at a 12 string. It taught me how to like not rely on a super famous drummer with a huge kick drum, you know.
The
Um,
biggest of kick drums.
right, right. Well, not necessarily now. Now that's another story we'll have to talk about. Hey, um, yeah. So that was it's weird, man. I guess it was just ill timed,
Yeah,
and I think a little bit was like too good to be true. Like you said, that was like it was like a perfect combination of like, wow, that could be fucking huge, like big, you
yeah,
know. I don't think people wanted to accept that,
yeah.
which is fine because I'm here now. You know, I'm a wonderful, wonderful life and wonderful fans, and I've written some of the greatest material. I never would have dreamed of being able to write if I didn't have to go through those different channels. You know.
Yeah. Well, let's pivot. Let's talk a little bit about writing and production. I mean, you're no stranger to either of those things. You've got quite a lot of production credits, and obviously, a fair amount of solo records out there too, with just really good material. So, what's your approach when writing versus production? Is it the same in regards to the production? Are you working with other artists or purely focusing on your own material? Like, how do you get the best out of yourself or another artist, especially if they're going into studio and are nervous and maybe sweating under a big light, you know?
I think it's I start off with a fucking a killer drum beat, man. You know, it has to be like when I go into the studio, like I'm gonna go after this, and um, I have to have like a really good feeling groove to and then I'll grab a guitar and I'll start getting a vibe and a notes, and then if something I'll do a little lead over it, and if that gives me the little goosebumps, then it's off to the races, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but with other artists, like when I wrote stuff for 3 Days Grace and many people, shit, one for 1,000 Foot Crutch and um, fuck, I don't know. There's a lot. I can't even
Yeah,
name.
yeah, you got a lot of credits.
But I just like to be me, man. You know, uh, have fun while you're doing it, make ridiculous jokes, and at the same time, you got to pull yourself back into the song. And after, you know, after that session, if you're not sick of the song and the idea, and you still get those goosebumps, then you're in the right spot. You know, um, yeah. If you could picture yourself on stage, just fucking destroying it, and everyone like feeling that electricity, then you're good, you
Yeah.
know.
What about musicians who've never gone into studio before? Is there any advice that you could offer that might prepare them better so that they can get the most out of their time in a situation where they may be paying for studio time? Because obviously now a lot of people have home studios. So I realize not everybody goes into studios, but
Yeah.
let's, hypothetically say a band's going into a studio that they are paying for and they've never been in a studio before. What are some of the
Mhm.
things they might want to think about so that they go in there and actually potentially leave with something they can be proud of versus, well, oh, we got to figure shit out in here.
They should know their parts, know how to tune a guitar, um know the language of studios, like as in composition, like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, just so you could see it like you're building a house, you know, because that can really fast travel yourself to definitive um things you want to say with your mouth, but it's not necessarily coming out that way.
Yeah.
uh, I would do a lot of YouTubing, man, and like learn about structure. But I think mainly the one thing to do is know your song, and um what you're willing to relinquish, what you're willing to sacrifice, is important too. Because I've been in recording situations where I walked in a room, like I was writing a song for Chris Daughtry, and I went into a room, a producer friend of mine, um, and he had like 8 people in the room, and I was and like I walked in the room, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna all share that song, so let's write." And I just closed the door. I went, "No."
Yeah.
That was just kind of like a not cool move, you know? Because if you're a real musician, you take that shit seriously. It's not about a paycheck. It's not about being fucking famous.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sick of that shit. That shit's tired.
Yeah.
You know? I like to be on the save the world type shtick than like feed me everything I can get, the gluttony fucking train, you know?
Yeah. Well, it speaks to your integrity. So again, I'm going to shift gears ever so slightly. Um, what are some things we can talk about artists staying true to themselves on both a musical level and an image level? I mentioned earlier, I always thought you had the coolest image. Still do. I mean, dude, you're a freaking rock star. There's no doubt about it. Um,
Thank
how can an artist who doesn't know where to start, and again, this possibly seems like a strange question because you you don't want to copy, but maybe they want to copy to a point. So I don't know. What can an artist do to try and stay true to themselves in those regards? Music, image, uh, morals, and what they believe in, etc., etc., etc. Especially now when it seems like, and I truly hope it changes at some point, but I think it'll get worse before it gets better. Especially with, like, we live on these things, right? Like these things just freaking seem to rule the world.
Oh, I
And
fucking hate it, bro. I can't
they
find it 5 times a
suck.
day. I'm glad.
Yeah, yeah, they suck. But like
Yeah,
artists are all just constantly comparing. I mean, I work with a lot of singer-songwriters, and it's so funny because sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, we need to write a song like this because of A, B, and C." And I get it. Like, I get it. Maybe that's where they're at in their lives. But like, you'd be so much happier if you stopped worrying about all of A, B, and C and just focused on you. But how do
that's why
people
music.
do that? How do they do that? You know?
Mm. Well, if there's someone in your band who's saying that we have to do something like that, then you got to get rid of them and keep doing what you feel is right. With like there's this, it's all been done, man. You know, um, through Led Zeppelin to fucking nowadays, to Prince or to whatever. It's
Yeah.
all been done. You can rap on polka fucking music. It's still been done somewhere at some point, right? No
Yeah.
one would have thought country music would have fucking rap in it. Now it's like the cool fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, is it cool? Do you think that that music saved somebody's life from drug addiction or um suicide? No fucking way.
Yeah.
Maybe by accident, maybe
Yeah.
by obsession, um, because it's a new artist like Post Malone. Oh, saved my life. No, I don't think so. I
Mm.
just don't. It's not like Stone Temple Pilots. It's not like Creedence Clearwater. It's not like Led Zeppelin. It's not like uh, Nirvana. It's not. There's no one like that. There's no
Yeah.
bands like that. And that's when I was coming to my own. Was that Nirvana era, not the band. I mean, that was like holy shit, dude. Like where people, remember the magazines where they were like folded in half, you'd pull it out of the center and you put it on your wall and shit. Like those days, bro.
Yeah.
Like now, I can't imagine like what posters are up on walls now. Like it, I think I'd fucking puke. Like, and for no reason. It's more of a celebrity uh homage than it is like a musical homage, like Neil Peart or John Bonham. Like a drummer would have John Bonham on his fucking wall, bro, huge poster, right? And look at it every day, drum on his fucking his on his knee while his mom's talking to him, not hearing a fucking word she's saying. All he's thinking about is, I can't wait for band practice, I'm gonna fucking shred that new song. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not no more.
Yeah.
And I'm trying, um actually, with this new band that I've together. We're that's It's funny that we're talking about that because we're doing exactly what we were born to do, and it's just like that era. And I don't care what is the new music. I just think that people are sick of it. I am,
Yeah.
and I've written everything that I can under the sun to get it off my chest. I've written a Christian record. I've always been a believer in Jesus, but that was the most, storytelling I've done about my faith and the power of that. And but yeah, this new record is it's about all of that journey, all of the fucked up shit, all, very meticulously describing about what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like one of the songs, I think the first one um I did with Sal. He was the guitar player from My Darkest Days.
Hmm.
Me and him got together and we started this group that's called Wrecking Room. And
I've
we
seen the teasers. Yeah.
yeah, and we see eye to eye through that. Like we're both from Toronto. Like stuff like that doesn't happen, and we live in Florida. Like, what are the chances he lives fucking 20 minutes from me? That's one in a billion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, dude? Like, that's not fucking possible.
Yeah.
And we got together in my studio and we just started to write, and we're just fucking really. I don't think we even noticed it was happening. All of a sudden, like a month later, we have like almost like an entire record. Like every week, we write a song and finish. It's done. And now we have, through God's graces, we got killer like management and um, shows. We're doing 2 music videos in a couple of weeks, and
Amazing.
I think that that's the answer to your question: is what should bands do? It, what you should do is what you should do. It's right in front of you. If you're asking what should I do, then you don't know fuck all yet. You need to stay inside with your guitar or your drums or your mic, and don't come out until you know that answer,
Yeah.
because it's right there. It's right there. Nobody knows that answer but you. It's right there, you know.
Yeah.
Because if you walk out of that room and someone goes, "Hey man, let's start a fucking R&B group," you go, "What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
I can't do that shit. That's not what I'm about."
Yeah.
You know. And don't
Yeah.
ask other people their opinions, because it's like that saying, it's like an asshole. Everybody's got one, you know?
Yeah.
Such a gross analogy, but you know what I
But
mean.
it's true. It is
Yeah.
true.
Because
Yeah.
you find the more you ask people, the more their ego builds up. It starts off as like, well, I like that one. And then they get a little more or less, they get a little more comfortable. Then they're like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And then it evolves even more into like, your other songs were better. Oh, it's like, fuck, why'd I ask you? Shut up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
You're decaying the process now, you know? You're more harm than help.
Yeah. And that's funny enough. An interesting topic to go on to as well, because it's come up the last few interviews I've done. And I mean, I'm interviewing musicians from like all over the place, all different genres, all different walks of life. But that particular topic seems to be reoccurring the last few weeks, almost like, have you ever noticed how, let's call them critics, even though that's not necessarily correct, the person who's got the most to say about your music in the most negative way usually isn't doing anything. So, like, why do we take all that stuff so to heart? If we could learn from it, we might make some really good art for the sake of art's sake and organicness. And I look forward to the day. Well, I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
the new material, man. I've been seeing you tease it. It looks pretty cool. Um, all right, I've got a strange question to ask you here. At
Shoot.
this point in your life, what, in your opinion, has been the hardest part about being a career musician?
The hardest part. Uh I guess going through everything I've gone through and then having to relive it in song, you know? Because when I'm singing it, it's like I said, it's not for like accolades. It's not for that or the woes. It's like uh, constantly living a bad situation out verbally, musically,
Yeah,
um that's hard to do. It's kind of like beating your head, against the wall in a way, but it's also therapeutic. I've had a couple of bad choices, when it comes to the ladies, pretty psychotic. Um, but I have to live through that demoness um, part of my life. You know what I mean? And then you're going like, wow, what the fuck for? Like,
Yeah.
like and music has um literally drawn that type of serpentine towards myself. It's not like I was like, oh, I need to go find a fucking a woman who's gonna be literally the fucking RIP of me, you know. It's not like I was like fucking calling people, hey, do you know a bitch that can ruin my life? Like, you sure? We'll ask around, you know.
Yeah.
So, music can do that too. You got to be very wary and careful. You got to know yourself. Don't leave the house until you know that answer, man,
Yeah.
because that's your greatest fucking bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
And once you do it, don't let anybody in, unless you trust them. Because as
Yeah.
quick as you made it, it could be taken away from you.
True. Um, Lucas, have you got any thoughts on AI and its current place in the music industry?
What a fucking sham, dude. What a sham, man. I mean, now these fucking things can like copy voices and algorithms of hit songs. You don't even have to fucking, oh, as long as you have a laptop and like a devious point of view, frame of mind, they're gonna put everybody out of business. But the
Yeah.
one thing AI can't do, bro, is evoke emotion. You know, it can, you know, borrow and beg from all the greatest theorists and lyric limerick writers or poets and songwriters throughout our time here on earth, but it can never truly make something from the heart that could change a real person's life,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, you can produce it like AI. I've heard some of the AI shit. It's like people putting out AI records. What the fuck is that? That's like you eating the candy and giving me the wrapper. I don't want that shit.
Yeah.
That's garbage,
And
right?
some of these guys are generating like some huge numbers for what that's worth nowadays. But I recently found, excuse me, I recently found like this guy, he does like 90s music, right? And he's doing it all as like soul. But
Oh, that black guy?
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome shit, dude. But as
Yeah, I
long as
mean, it's like it's
long
pretty
as
awesome,
he's
but
singing, as long as
yeah,
he's performing,
yeah,
but at the same time, I challenge any of those people who are using computer generated algorithms to take my job. I
yeah,
challenge you, you bring an acoustic guitar and we'll have one mic and you and me go toe to toe. I don't care who it is, man.
yeah,
And then we'll see how strong your AI is compared to all my years and all the stories and fans that have helped me through my hard times. And we'll see who's got the bigger Tommy Lee machine, you know?
yeah, bass drum.
Yeah.
Um, so we were just talking about music and emotion and how it evokes emotion, etc., etc., etc. This is probably the dumbest question I will ask you, but I've been asking a lot of my guests lately, mainly for selfish reasons. It's giving me more stuff to go and listen to. So, if you had to name, and this is just a shitty question to ask a musician, but if you had to name your top 3 albums that every musician should listen to, especially ones that have maybe touched you emotionally or helped you through some tough times, what do you think they would be?
um I the first Stone Temple Pilots record, I think it was called Purple. Um that record, Jeff Buckley, My Sweetheart the Drunk, because those were all demos that were put together by Jeff's mom and Chris Cornell when he passed. There's just such a or like real honest thing to that, it's not overproduced and all that shit. And I guess I love Huey Lewis and the News, man. Fuck that. Like maybe I'm a little like biased because I love Back to the Future. It's one of my favorite movies. But like, come on, like it's just a great that like Huey Lewis is great. His tone is so cool.
Yeah,
The original raspy, so good, effortless it seems.
yeah,
Queen, obviously, not too much Queen. You don't want to get too carried away because that dude's fucking he's from another planet. He's
yeah.
amazing. Like, don't even try that shit. It's fucking insane. Um, like, and then that's about it, man. I think,
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
All right, second last question. Let's talk about your cover of Hello, the Adele song. Now, I try to look for the original one that you had put up. I couldn't find it. I'm sure I will. I'll link it in the show notes when I do.
I had to take it down
I thought that might be the case.
because of an ex of mine was trying to claim my residuals from it,
What a bummer, man.
right?
I mean, I remember when that video came out, it was like the day after she put it out or something like that. It was ridiculously quick. Her version of Hello came out. I swear the next day I got a notification your version was out and I was like, "Ah, this is the one." I must have listened to that song a million times myself. Fantastic.
Right.
Um Okay, but I want to talk about it more from a viral point of view. Nowadays, it's so common things go viral. Oh, every second person's gone viral. I'm so sick of people saying they go viral. It's like I always thought viral meant a million or more, and now I'm meeting like musicians all the time who are like, "I went viral," and you go like, "But you got like 500 views, dude."
Yeah.
Like, I mean, listen, and I'm not putting my nose up. 500 views in this industry is still 500 views, but like, there's a huge difference between a million and 500, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, so when that went viral, which is the word I will use, what was going through your head? Did you get any opportunities come through because of how quickly it was gaining traction? Did anybody kind of get hold of you because of copyright law or licensing issues? Tell us a little bit about that kind of thing.
No, I heard Adele loved it. Um, and that was good enough for me. I mean, other than that, you get some gigs and that with higher pay and interviews and such, but I was kind of getting that to begin with. So like I told you, I don't do that stuff to like to, for the achievement, I guess, the level
Yeah.
up. Um, yeah, it was cool to see, especially after Supernova, it was cool to see like the numbers just rapidly go up, which was, it was very invigorating for me, man. I I wrote a lot more music. I guess it was from acknowledgement, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
I could see that people were paying attention and enjoying what I was doing, and um, that there's a lot to say with that. Love from the outside world is hard to put a you can't put a price tag on that. That's
No.
that's invaluable.
Yeah. All right, Lucas, last question. What do you feel has either been the best piece of advice you've ever received in regards to having a music career, or what do you feel could serve as good advice for somebody who's trying to strive to have a music career?
The best advice I could give would be never talk shit about any musician, because you're gonna sure as fuck run into them or their camp some way down the road, um, and it could bite you in the ass. And it's not just stay positive. You know, it's not always gonna be you know jelly beans and strippers, man. It's gonna suck
Yeah.
for a lot, and when it does suck, at least you're on the right path. Um, and you go to bed at night with the melody in your head and wake up in the morning and put that shit to bed, and get it done and make it become an entity that you can leave behind when because life's short. Um, and if you enjoy music, that means you've been touched by a blessing from God, and um, don't waste time on it. Stick to your guns, and you gotta have fun when you're doing it, man, because the people listening will as well. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. Lukas Rossi, dude, I wish you nothing but the best with your new project, with music in general, in life, just everything. Thank you so much for your time and your willingness to share. It is truly appreciated, and I will see you on the next one.